Hello students, today before telling you about the topic, I want to share with you an experience during exam duty. In the paper of English literature, I noticed that while attempting reference to context question, the sequence of the headings was not proper by some students. Some of them were writing direct explanation without writing any introduction or reference or context. And some students wrote context and then reference. Means I noticed that this question was not given any attention by some students. Even today, when so much guidance is available online and offline, situation has not changed much, and I have felt that this question needs a lot of practice on the part of the students. So until now, must have understood that today's topic is a reference to context, and we will deal with this question in context of poetry. I am Sareen, Associate Professor of English, and today's our topic is reference to context, how to write an effective reference to context. So key points to be kept in mind while attempting this question, that keep in mind that your answer shows your grip over syllabus, which literary period, and from that period which poets are in your syllabus. अगर आप रॉन्ग पोइट या किसी ऐसे पोइम का नाम लिख देते हैं जो आपके सिलेबस में नहीं है, तो क्लियर हो जाता है कि इन डेप्थ स्टडी नहीं की गई है, ध्यान से नहीं पढ़ा गया है। और लेंथ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती है। अगर ये क्वेश्चन 8 या 10 मार्क्स का पूछा जा रहा है, तो नेचुरल बात है, आपको ध्यान में रखना है कि आपको पूरे पोइम के बारे में नहीं लिख देना है। आपको मतलब जस्ट जंपिंग टू द क्वेश्चन कि ओ आई नो दिस पोइम, और अब 3-4 पेजेस का बना दें या बहुत शॉर्ट लिख दें। तो आपको अकॉर्डिंग टू मार्क्स, अगर 10 या 8 मार्क्स का वो है, तो आप उसको 1.5 और मैक्सिमम 2 पेजेस तक आप उसको लिख सकते हैं। फिर जो इसके मेन हेडिंग्स होते हैं वो अकॉर्डिंग टू एक सीक्वेंस में होने चाहिए। जो स्टैंजा हमारे पास होगा उसके हम पहले रेफरेंस लिखेंगे, फिर कॉन्टेक्स्ट लिखेंगे और फिर एक्सप्लेनेशन लिखेंगे। और ये जो पॉइंट्स होते हैं, रेफरेंस, कॉन्टेक्स्ट, एक्सप्लेनेशन और कमेंटिंग। रेफरेंस में हम मोस्टली पोइम और पोइट्री की बात करते हैं, इंट्रो करते हैं, और कॉन्टेक्स्ट में हम वो जो स्टैंजा हमारे सिलेबस में होता है उसका कनेक्शन बताते हैं फुल पोइम के साथ। एक्सप्लेन में हम उन सिंपल लाइन्स में, सिंपल प्रोज में उन लाइन्स को एक्सप्लेन करते हैं। और कमेंट में हम बेसिकली वो जो समरी होती है उस स्टैंजा की, किससे थीम क्लियर करती है। If time allows, and if you have read about the devices, the style, what the rhyme scheme of the poem is, तो ये सब आप उसमें लिख सकते हैं। इस स्टैंडर्ड के मेन टॉपिक्स ये होते हैं: रेफरेंस, कॉन्टेक्स्ट, एक्सप्लेनेशन और कमेंटिंग। तो अपने इस पॉइंट को हम एक एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं, उससे क्लियर करते हैं। Suppose these 4 lines are in your syllabus. The smile asked that is painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. I call that piece a wonder. Now, Frau Pendol's hands worked busily a day, and there she stands. This poem I'm referring in context of BA second year, paper A, Maharaja Ganga Singh University, poetry paper of BA second year. So these 4 lines are supposed and there. Now, first of all, before starting the reference to context, you will indicate which 4 lines you are referring, because in exams there are 4 to 5 stanzas are there, so you have to make it clear which stanza you are picking. For this, you have to write the beginning and the last words of the stanza, as we have written here. That's my last beginning words and the last words. Then we, in a reference, we tell from which poem they have come. We give introduction of the particular lines, and we have to keep in mind whether they are the opening, concluding, or from the middle section of a poem. Means you must have read the text of the poem attentively. So single line intro of the poem, मीन्स वी विल टेल द सोर्स पोइम। जो भी स्टेंजा हमारे पास है, सबसे पहले हम उसका सोर्स बताएंगे कि ये किस पोइम में से है। फिर it is included where it is included means that poem's a source. What's the name of the collection of that poem? When it was published, we can write about a period or a particular year. We can give one line intro of the poet also here in a reference, and in a single line we can tell about the theme of the poem also. We can tell about the character, how many characters are there, who's the speaker, who is the listener, and what's the setting of the poem. This basic intro we can give into the reference. Like a stanza we have taken, that's my last duchess. So we can tell that this is the opening stanza of the dramatic monologue poem by My Last Duchess, written by Victorian poet Robert Browning. It was first published in 1842 in dramatic lyrics and bells and pomegranates, and also included in dramatic romances in 1868. Here we can add one line about the art of Robert Browning. That dramatic monologue was his great art form. Human soul was his subject matter, and mostly his setting was Italy, a religion, and the world of art. As in a dramatic monologue, only one character speaks and the listener is a silent. So here the speaker is Duke of Ferrara, 16th century Italy, and the listener is the messenger from the Count. This information about the messenger you can add it in the context also or in the reference also. So this has become the reference where we have introduced our lines from where we have taken about the poem, about the source, and who speaks, who listens, and what is the setting. So this is the reference. Now, in context, number two heading is context. In context, we give more information about that stanza in the poem shortly. First of all, we tell about the full poem in single line, and then what happens in that particular stanza given in the exam. Means we situate the lines, we made a connection with the poem. So, in this stanza, which we are attempting in the exam, so we will write that the Duke, whose first wife has died, he is negotiating with the messenger of the Count, whose daughter he wishes to marry. The setting is the art gallery of the Duke, and the speech or full poem is delivered in front of the portrait of the previous wife. In this stanza, the Duke and the messenger are in the art gallery, and the Duke draws the curtain from the portrait of the last Duchess and explains about the painting in the painter. This is the context of our stanza that the Duke is negotiating and they are in the art gallery and he's explaining about the painter and the painting in the painter. Now we come to our next topic, and that is the explanation. The after reference, context. Now we have to explain those things because the background has been given, connection has been set. Now we explain those lines in simple prose. Means we clear the meaning of those lines in explanation. As in our briefing हो चुकी है, रेफरेंस हो गया, कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आ चुका है सारा बैकग्राउंड. तो वी एक्सप्लेन द लाइन्स लाइक those four lines. That is my last touch is painted on the wall. That the in these lines, Duke proudly tells the messenger that this lifelike, realistic painting of his wife is a wonderful work of art painted by the famous monk artist Pendolph. And that monk artist, worked only for a day for this marvelous picture of the Duchess. The Duke worked busily for a single day, and there she stands. The Duke tells that after hard work, this painting was prepared in a single day, and you can appreciate this lifelike picture of the Duchess, previous Duchess. So this is the explanation of those 4 lines. Now we come to the critical comments, and in critical comments we summarize our stanza, and we can also comment on the style of the poet. What's the style in the full poem? Which poetic devices has been used by the poet? As in this stanza, only these 4 lines, these opening 4 lines, they bring out the possessiveness, the connoisseur, the two major qualities of the Duke. As a full poem is basically it becomes a character study, a psychological study of the Duke's soul. These 4 lines they tell us about the two major qualities of the Duke. He considers his wife a piece of property, and how he also has an exquisite taste in art. He appreciates its realistic quality, its lifelike quality. Now, here we can also add the comments about Browning's art, style of Browning, and the devices which are used by him in the full poem. So, for writing an effective reference to context, we have to keep in mind reference, context, explanation, and critical comments. In the next session, we will try to have more explanation of the more stanzas. Thank you, students. Thank you for listening. Keep learning. Stay motivated. Thank you.